David's complaint. David is an old farmer in his early 80s who lives in the countryside. Since he lives alone, he often feels lonely and gets bored easily. Therefore, drinking is one of the ways he tries to alleviate his loneliness. Whenever he gets drunk, he likes to complain about his neighbors. The first neighbor is a foolish farmer who doesn't think much while working. When he worked in construction, his supervisor once told him not to come the next day. However, he is always kind to David and often gives him a ride to the downtown. The second neighbor David complains about is a farmer who is a leftist. He went to school in Gwangju and witnessed the Gwangju democratization movement in 1980. He has always opposed dictatorship and supported the Conservative Party's opposition. David, who has lived on an island his entire life, is a strong rightist. However, that neighbor is warm-hearted and sometimes visits David to drink together. The third neighbor David complains about is a farmer whose two sons are pastors. David complains that they don't visit the graves of their ancestors, and their monthly income is as low as 1 million won. Because their father is sick, they rarely visit David. However, when David's wife died, they prayed for her at the funeral. The last neighbor David complains about is a farmer who has been farming on his land for free. Although David has let him use the land without any payment every year, the farmer never gives anything back. David believes the neighbor only thinks about his own benefit. Still, that farmer sometimes visits David to talk about daily life. One day, David's nephew said to him, "No one is perfect. We need each other and should live in balance together. Talk about it." What does David do when he feels lonely? What does David complain about? How often do you complain? Do you know anyone who complains all the time? Do you know anyone who never complains? Which is easier, changing yourself or changing others? What issues have you been most interested in lately?